Well, there's more than one person listed in the name of the band. I think there's only one guy. It's just Brother Rains.
That's right. Me and my brother started this about 2 years ago, and we knew we needed somebody else to round it out. So we came across an old friend of ours, Brian Lewis, and threw mandolin, fiddle, and electric guitar on top of what we was already doing and trying to make something different.
Sounds like everything went into the making of Brother Rains, and we're going to find out about that tonight on the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. As we go along, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself properly?
I'm Chris Rains from Brother Rains.
Fittingly enough, it would have been weird if you'd been like Chris Smith of Brother Rains.
We'd used all the other names up, so that's all we had left.
So where are you from originally?
Originally from Jamestown, Tennessee. Grew up there most of my life, Allert, Palmyra, and then moved here after college and started playing music.
How would you classify your music?
I wouldn't say it's country, and I wouldn't say it's rock. It's somewhere in the middle.
It's a crock. No, it's not a crock.
Exactly.
We won't call it that. What we will do, though, is get a chance to listen to a couple of your songs tonight. Sure. Talk to you about what goes into making them, some of the instruments in your band. I heard, did I hear mandolin?
Mandolin, fiddle, even harp and everything. Our whole idea was no rules, just whatever we thought would fit. We're going to do it. We're going to
have to discuss whether or not you've got a travel-size harp or not. We'll have that conversation about all of that stuff as we continue tonight. It's Brother Rains on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. Well, if you think mandolin and you think harp and you think all of that going into music, you must be thinking about the band we have tonight, Brother Rains. Or at least that's what we're talking about.
It confuses us, too.
It is a collection of instruments and a collection of members as well. And we have in with us tonight Chris Rains. As we'd speak with him tonight on the 9 o'clock news local edition, we're going to be talking about some of your songs a little bit later on. I want to get into, in fact, we'll take a look at one of yours here in just a minute. I want to get into how you do the writing and where that comes from and how all these instruments fit together. How many people are actually in Brother Rains?
There's three of us, myself, my brother Brad, and Brian Lewis.
Now, what do they play? You play?
I play mainly just acoustic guitar. That's how it all started, was just straight up acoustic guitar with drums. We done it for fun in the basement. And we'd been in every rock band, country band around, and we just always had fun doing it. So it kind of got to that point where we was like, let's just go have fun. And it kind of took off for us by mistake. We didn't plan it and got Brian involved with it. And 6 months later, we signed a record deal. Happy
accidents are the kind of accidents that you want to have.
I always say follow what you love and it'll work out.
All right. So you had you and a guitar, and then you had a drum. And right. How did the other part come into it?
We just knew that we wanted some kind of a weird kind of auxiliary player that could play a bunch of different instruments. And Brian can play anything with strings on it. And it was a perfect fit. And we'd known him for years and years through other bands. But I'd played with him in a band in Nashville for maybe a couple shows with a little girl we played with down there. But
what's the main instrument that's his go-to?
Electric guitar.
Electric guitar and
fiddle is his too.
So you do acoustic guitar, he does electric guitar. Yeah. Is he mainly the lead?
Yes.
Okay, so he mainly does the lead. You do mostly the rhythm type stuff, and then of course you got your drummer to round it out.
Right.
And there was only one type of music you wanted to play, and that was the country style with the rock.
Yeah, we just wanted to have fun because we grew up with crazy stuff with Kiss and Prince and Bon Jovi, but we also loved Alabama and Garth Brooks and all those people.
I don't think I've heard that crossover yet between Prince and Alabama. That has got to be the song
the first one to buy it, I'm sure.
If you do an Alabama song in a Prince style, I think I would love to have that on the show.
We do a Prince song with a banjo.
A Prince song with a banjo.
We do Dove's Cry.
With a banjo.
With a banjo. And he uses a wah pedal with it.
Nice. How do you fit in the mandolin? How does that come in?
It comes and goes. We love it sometimes, and then it'll get pushed to the side for a little bit, and then it'll find its way back through songs. We just now started doing the U2 song "Pride in the Name of Love." We've just kind of done it, and it's more of a fiddle bluegrassy kind of thing.
You basically like to play around on the covers and kind of see what you can transition in, what might work, what won't.
We never want to do it the way they do it. We always try to come up with some unique way of trying it again. They done it probably the right way, but we just want to do it a different way.
Well, and then you have the original way, and we're going to do that with one of your songs now. How about if we take a listen to one of your tunes, Cold Winter's Day? Tell me where that comes from.
It all started with when we started the band, we said, we're going to write about us. We're going to write about things that we care about and about each other, and it totally came from a situation that Brian was going with. He told me one night we opened up for somebody, Love and Theft, I think, and after it, he was telling me the story about love gone bad situation. And I said, I need a pen. and so I wrote it right there after the show, and I sent it to him on his way home on a text message, and he's like, "That's it." And the first time we played it was hard rock. They didn't even know the chords or anything. I just pulled it out and we played, and it worked.
All right,
we had fun.
Let's share it with everyone then. It's cold winter's day. It is Brother Rains on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. Pretty much the dream of just about any local band that we've had on this show is to get signed. And I've got a band that's in the process of doing that tonight as we speak with Brother Rains on the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. I've got Chris Rains in with me. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm great.
You're on the verge of doing a whole lot more. You started out with this it was what we said earlier, a happy accident. You guys just kind of fell into making music together. And now you've actually managed to, not a full-blown label, just kind of a starter-up label, and you've managed to work with them.
Our total idea was nobody's going to let us play this kind of music and get away with it in clubs and stuff. And so we was totally prepared to play it in our basement for the rest of our lives. And it worked. And we don't know how, it just did. And we said, all right, we'll come try it. Let you see if you like it. And we thought they wouldn't go for it, most venues. And 6 months later, we're in a whole different ball game. And it was totally by mistake. Didn't mean for it to happen. Of course, we wanted it to, but.
And all with the backing of, as we mentioned, a starter label earlier. Who you been working with?
With Cotton Blossom Records out of Nashville.
All right. Well, I think you're like the first band that we've had on that's actually got something behind them.
It was a weird situation. I met the girl who started the label in Cookeville years ago, 6-7 years ago. And we opened up for somebody that came. I don't even remember who it was. And we got done, and she's like, if I ever get a label, I'm calling you. And I was like, heard that before, Yeah. And sure enough, she signed it, and we was the first call she made. Brad and I went down, and we signed the deal at the beer cellar in Nashville. And
it's a lot like doing, I would compare it to like AAA baseball, basically, because you're in the starter leagues. You're working your way up to.
Yeah, we're by no means Van Halen. By no means, we're at the tip end of the start. It just.
Well, even Van Halen had to give a start somewhere.
But yeah, we're the T-ball of the record business.
So you guys have been working with them for a little while now, trying to get things together. You've got a few songs that you've lined up, and that's gearing towards EP or album?
The EP's done. That's what we've got. And at this point, we're looking at more EPs because we like the idea of doing 4, getting it out there, see what they like, having 4 more. We're kind of looking at every 6 months, we're wanting to at least have something in their hands that instead of just spending a year on 10, 12 tracks, I'd like to have them as quick as I could get it to them. We've got it to them on their website, and they can download it straight from our website. It's kind of worked for us.
You guys, you have, at least you have been in other bands. I think you said that you had played a few other things and just decided this didn't fit, this didn't work.
Correct.
Let's just make our own sound and see what happens with this. So I'm going to guess that means that you, having played in other bands, had spent some time trying to swing for the fences.
Absolutely. I think we come closest when we was about 18 years old. We had a band called Distant Thunder, and it got about to where we're at now at 18 years old. Brad was 16 at the time, and it just kind of fell apart. And the music business crumbles sometimes, and that's kind of what happened. And ever since then, we've tried different things, and Brad and I has always been in the band together. We played completely with each other in the band for all these years. He's a bass player and drummer, so this whole idea started with Brad playing drums with his feet and bass with his hands, like an old kind of stomp kind of thing, acoustic thing, and it's kind of evolved into this that became fiddle and mandolin and whatever else we can get our hands on at the time.
And you do fit quite a few instruments into your songs, too.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, we'll take a listen to another one of your tracks a little bit later on as we continue our conversation with Brother Rains on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. We've discussed what it's like playing Prince on a banjo, which is rather unique, you have to admit, and what it's like trying to get broke into the music business as they've started out with the label. We're talking with Brother Rains tonight about all those things on the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. I have Chris Rains in with me this evening. Everybody else is a little bit busy right now, so appreciate you taking the time to come in and talk with us.
No problem whatsoever.
You've worked up a few songs for an EP. You've gotten those together. It sounds like the live shows make for an interesting time. I'm sure you play that new stuff in there. The originals go into the show. Prince goes into the show with the banjo version. Is that the most outlandish thing that you've ever played live?
Oh, we do Kiss, I Was Made for Loving You with fiddle. We do some YouTube, but we also do, we do Garth Brooks. And
so it's a mix of all of the things that you really love, that you just kind of find a way to make it sound different. I think we established earlier that you just look at it from a different view, and that's what you come up with. And going towards your songwriting, does that also come into play? Trying to look at it from a different view, but be original?
Absolutely. I think we've always tried to we always wanted to write the one just left of center. We just didn't want the straight up country song or the straight up rock song either. We wanted something that was kind of, you had something to say, or it was emotional enough that it was important to say. And I think that's where with those 4 songs, I think that's what we got. We kind of set out to get that, and I think we got it.
Where do you draw your main inspiration when it comes time to sit down with your guitar?
It starts with the lyric with me almost 90% of the time. I start with lyrics and, ooh, that's a good idea. And then usually the melody and words come together at the same time. I usually don't write the lyric and then write the music, or vice versa. It usually is and most of my songs are written in 5 minutes. It has to be that organic to come out.
Do you find that song resurfacing somewhere else if it doesn't work out in that 5 minutes?
A lot of times. I find myself plagiarizing myself a lot.
I don't think you can call it plagiarizing if it's your own material, but I guess that kind of fits.
Yeah, you tend to, when you have that one good line, is like, that don't fit here, but I'm going to remember that one. And you go back to it, but usually when I start putting stuff in from another song that I wrote previously, it never usually works. It always goes back to that song that 5 minutes, it just appears on your paper and you don't know how it got there, really. It just comes through you and you're done.
Is that how One Bullet came through?
Absolutely. I was watching a documentary about the Pixies, and the little girl on it that's in the Pixies, she said she wanted to write a 1920s dramatic, murder mysteries. I was like, ooh, that's a great idea. Just got through watching the news about those girls that was locked up in a basement in Ohio. So I was like, wow, that's a kind of, if I took that idea and put it in the 20s, what you come up with would be One Bullet, and we wanted it to be that kind of a weird song, almost a Thunder Rolls type song that'd get you, but also we want it to be our version of a new idea. And that's kind of how we came about it. And that was I wrote it the first night before the first day we got together. Next day, come in, Brian had a fiddle thing recorded on his phone, and he's playing this, and I go, Brad said it should have these Celtic drums, that goes like this. So they're playing it, and I'm running for my iPad because I wrote it last night, and I had a completely different melody to it. I come down, and we sang it. I've got it recorded. We played it one time through, all the way through, and that's exactly how it is right now. I mean, we didn't change anything on it. The chords are the same, the licks are the same, even the structure of the song. It was that first take in the basement, and none of us knew it.
One take for One Bullet.
Yeah.
Let's give it one listen. It's the 9 o'clock news local edition on Rock 93.7. We've gone from a discussion of mandolins and even harps being used to being a little country to not so much. It's all been part of Brother Rains, as we've gotten to know them a little bit tonight. Chris Rains in with us. Thank you, Chris, for coming in again.
Absolutely.
We have been discussing what you've started out with was just, as we said, a happy accident. You weren't planning to make a big band, and it's turned into something more. Not only that, chance to work with a record label now and kind of get your feel for things and hopefully onto something bigger. People can share this online with you, this little journey that you're taking. Where's a good place to send them?
BrotherRains.com.
Simple enough.
Simple enough. And then there's a Facebook, and then we also have Reverb Nation and everywhere else that I could possibly have it.
I was going to say, you can point everybody everywhere these days because there's so many different places to go with social media and stuff.
But if you go to Brother Rains, you can find all of the links.
One central location is what we love. It's nice and easy that way. So, and you can check out some other songs on there too. I think we said earlier that you had them up there for them to be able to.
We have shirts and CDs and everything there. All of our pictures, lyrics, all of it's there.
Upcoming dates for where you're going to be performing, all of it's there as well.
We do. Right now, I think we're going to hit about 200 shows this year. So we've been playing every night if we can.
I was going to say, that's pretty close to it.
We're going to hit about 175, 200. We'll be close to that. We played a lot.
You can check out where they're going to be playing at next. Go see them live. I highly recommend that. You can find out a little bit more about them at brotherrains.com. Thank you, Chris, for coming in and hanging out with us tonight on the 9 o'clock news local edition here on Rock 93.7. We appreciate you.